Okay, so this will be part 4, right? Whenever we were going to court and they were trying to force me into some kind of agreement, because I fought them tooth and nail the entire way, going to the law library, researching, filing complaints with the Judicial Qualifications Commission against the judge. Catherine G. Esrick said, "You can no longer represent yourself pro se until you take a psychological evaluation." And that completely took my feet from under me. So now they're trying to subjugate me to these piss poor public defenders. And they weren't piss poor because they were public defenders. They were piss poor because they were intentionally underrepresenting me, trying to get me to agree to their case plan. And I mean, it's just like, I had already taken classes to become a foster parent, and I hadn't yet gotten the certification, but that was just my next step. That's all I needed to actually be a foster parent. And here they're telling me that you trying to do the best for your children by requesting a lotus birth and keep their placentas attached and allowing them to get all of their blood, we perceive that to be you endangering your children. So I said, the only thing this could be is political backlash, because it didn't make any sense. There were already websites and already research going to show that talking to your children, they were suggesting women put headphones on their belly so that babies could listen to classical music, Beethoven and Bach. So I brought in all of this information to show, hey, I'm not crazy. This is what they're suggesting. I know I'm black, and this is kind of weird maybe for you to see an African American or my mom's side is Cherokee, my dad's side is Blackfoot, my daughter is a Washita. That's from the Moorish bloodline, right? So I'm trying to be as indigenous as possible. And at the time, I probably used the word sovereign. So I know you think if you let me slide, then there'll be others behind me. Maybe, maybe not. Very few people actually want to take the responsibility of their children. That's why they put them in daycare and school. I know that's going to upset a lot of people. Let me say this to you. When you really, really believe something, you go through whatever it takes to maintain your belief, whether that's moving to your mom's house, you and your husband living in a room, and your children living in another room or in the living room, so that you, mom, can stay home with your baby until they're 5 or 6, or stay home with them all together. The husband working the first shift, the mom working overnight, whatever. See, when you believe in something, if you truly believe it, then your actions follow. So you all can try to give me a hard time and be like, oh, what am I going to do and all of that. Black women do it to me all the time. They give me these cream puff examples. This is why the world has gone to pot, because we don't hold true to what we say we believe. You understand me? But can you imagine pushing a baby out in the bathroom, picking that baby up, putting that baby to your breast, waiting for your placenta to be born, moving through the house with the baby and the placenta attached, going to get a spaghetti strainer to put the placenta in, putting the baby down, cleaning up all the blood off the floor, praying and praising the whole while, right? And then from that point, that child being with you and you providing all the meals around the clock. You and that baby are together. Every now and then when they got a little older, I would let them go to somebody's house and pick them up. I never really did that spending the night thing, because a lot can happen during them spending the night ventures. But I'm saying to you, a lot of energy and effort and love and care have gone into my children. And the 2 children that I prayed for were taken from me at Morton Plant Mease Hospital at 3 days old because I wanted to do what I thought was the best for them, which was Lotus birth. And for years, I just was in so much pain, confused, trying to figure out what was going on. And it never dawned on me that my family was actively working against me, and my friend was actively working against me. But when my grandmother, Irene Scarborough, died, that's when it's like a light bulb went off. And that's when I was ready to receive that not only were they working against me just by talking against me, because my grandmother told me when I said, Grandma, I need you to tell this attorney that I bring $100 every week when I leave the paper corner, because I used to sell papers in front of Charlie's Market, and I bring you the milk, the diapers, and food and snacks for them for the week, and I buy their clothes. I need you to tell him that I'm taking care of my children. She said, they'll be better off with Tony. That's what she told me. She said, my babies will be better off with Tony. I'll be the guy. And that hurt me to my heart. And I couldn't figure out why my grandmother thought my babies would be better off with my brother. Maybe because of the political activism. I was starting to get into politics and protesting, and maybe she thought that that was going to bring me some very unfortunate events. I'm not sure. So when my grandmother told me that she thought my babies would be better off with my brother, I decided that I would divorce her, and we were no longer going to have any familia ties. But I'm certain that she laid there sick and suffering in Georgia in that bed long enough to feel sorry for the hurt that she caused me. And I know she left me some money. So who has it? Where is it? Which one of you criminals faked like you were me and took that money? My children and I are sitting here, can barely eat from day to day, always scraping up to do the light bill and the water bill, and I don't even want to go down that road. We're thankful to be together, but we're suffering. We didn't have Christmas. My supervisor at the golf course told me I'd be there at least until Christmas, and I had to leave there December 4th. He went out of town, and the superintendent was really acting out, and so that Friday I was raking the bunkers, and I was at hole 3, and I heard a gunshot, and I said, Happy New Year, and I just kept raking. I didn't even look back to see if somebody was holding a gun towards me or anything. I turned the lights off on my machine because my supervisor, Al, was sitting there, the superintendent, not the person over the entire the entire organization that maintains the golf course, ABM. He was out of town. So the superintendent was there, and he was sitting there on a cart with the lights off. And I'm like, why is he sitting here with the lights off? So I turned my lights off. I heard the bang, and then I said, Happy New Year. And I got off and I raked myself out. And then I kept moving through my job, because I start at 5:30 a.m. in the morning. And our job, my first job was to rake the bunkers and stay ahead of play. They open at 7:30, so that means all 18 holes need to be raked by that time. And every hole didn't have a bunker, but some holes had 2 and 3 bunkers. So I didn't want to go back to work unless I had some form of protection. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go and apply for a gun license, and then I'll go back to work in the 3 days when they say, yes, you can carry your gun, and I'm going to take my gun to work with me. And he's telling me not to bring a gun to work, but I'm working on this machine by myself. I have to get off and rake these bunkers. So I kept trying to hold on to the job. I said, can I please go through and rake all the bunkers and then put the raker up and go back out on a cart and go place the rakes on the proper side of the bunker and rake away the tire tracks. And he's like, oh no, you got to do it all at the same time to stay ahead of play. I could have done it all before 7:30 for sure, which means by 7:30 the first 9 holes would be done. So if they're starting on the first hole, I'm never going to meet them. Now sometimes they had a habit of starting at hole 10 because they were doing certain things on the golf course. If that happened, then if I know it, I can do hole 18, well 10 through 18, and then go over to the other side and do holes 1 through 9, and I would still stay ahead of play. But to shorten a long story, they were not willing to let me do that. And I was not willing to be out there hearing gunshots, seeing people, the homeless men, they moved over near hole 1 from hole 2. And then after they cut down the bushes near the street on Rowlett Drive, it just was more homeless people were walking through there. And I didn't want to get raped. I didn't want to get stabbed. I just couldn't deal with being unarmed and out there by myself on that bunker, wondering if these people are going to try to do something to me with my back turned.
Yeah.
So I told my boss I needed another day. This is via email. And then he sent me a letter saying, thank you for your time. But, since it's the winter, we're scaling down our staff and we no longer need you. That's how they handled it. So that threw me in a tailspin. We sat here Christmas and I think we ate maybe ramen noodles, bananas, something like that. And I really have nobody I can say, hey, can you loan me $200-$300? I lost my job. I just have to suffer through. And my children, they're awesome. We've been suffering through, and we know that there's going to be great reward at the end. So I'm telling you about that struggling to say when my grandmother died, I thought I was going to get a little bit of relief. And at least my children were going to get some relief, right? But they didn't. And when my brother was fighting my nephew and we had to go to court, I told that judge, if you let him stay, because he had to leave the house, if you let him stay where he is, let him keep the checks and I'll pay the bills over here, the lights, the water, the cable, recreation, And so that was what I said to her. My brother said he did bankruptcy and he was paying the bankruptcy because he gets checks for a moon and a set. So he gets 2 checks every month. But now he's lying, according to Alva, saying that he doesn't get checks. If he doesn't get checks, I don't know who gets them. Who would now be getting them? I cannot. Well, I was going to go try the form that I got out of his file cabinet when I was moving his stuff out of the room that said he gets $729 for a moon and $729 for a set on the 24th of every month. But, people lie, whatever. We're going to make it. God loves us. And I've been reciting, I am a billionaire. I attract billion-dollar opportunities. I am a master manifester. So this morning I added to that at the end, I have $2,000 in my pocket at all times. And if you keep reciting it, it's supposed to actually gravitate those things to you. So I'm going to keep reciting that to myself. And what I want to make sure I include before we get too far, this is my driver's license. And they took this from me, the police. This is the ticket that I got.
Wait a minute. I thought
Okay.
you were online.
Let me see. I'm going to turn this way. Everything's going to be grainy. Everything's going to be hard to see. But, okay, so that's... I get it notarized because they keep calling me crazy and stuff. And so, me notarizing it
Wait, you do Zoom calls?
helps me to let you know that I'm serious about what I'm saying. So I'm trying to create a pile of dirty clothes and cleaning out underneath the sofa here. So it's a mess, but I'll clean it up. I'm finding this to be more important to do than to work that out right now, because I'm dealing with limited energy. So this is the ticket AF0C8U. And where's the date? 2/9/2022, right? At 4:15 p.m. Aileen Dorothea Atkins, 6010 North 32nd Street, Tampa, Florida. See my date of birth, 11/24/70. Black female. And that should say 5'9", but it looks almost like a 1. I had to take a picture because the ink disappears off of these tickets. They're so slick. You see my number there, A32500470924, right? And a 2011 Dodge Caliber 4-door. You see my license, my vehicle license plate, JDJN53.
I left by accident.
And let me see, I'm trying to... I can't focus it for some reason. Okay, the year that my license expires is 2023. I'll just read it off of here. The color is orange. The tag expires in 2022. And then it says Palm Avenue East, west from Nebraska Avenue North, traveling east. That's what it says. Now, then down here it says pay $163. That's what it says. Let me see, how do I help you to see that? Pay $163. You see that? $163. Clerk of the Circuit Court, Hillsborough County, Tampa.
www.hillsclerk.com